Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hairy Muppet, and we have an extremely exciting game right here. It's the HomeStory Cup Grand Final, game number 7 in a best of 7 series. That's right, both of these players have won 3 games each, doing an insane job, and right now it is just down to one single game. And if Snute wins this game, he wins the entire tournament, and same goes for TaeJa. Snute is our red Zerg player down in the bottom left, and TaeJa, our blue Terran player, up at the top right. And all I can say is what crazy sort of shit is going to go on here. Will we see a command center first build from TaeJa? Will we see a 10 pull from Snute? Probably not going to be a 10 pull because he hasn't really mixed up his build too much. He's been quite happy with the build he's been using. But yeah, what are we going to see? I don't know. Is it going to be something crazy? Is it going to be standard stuff? Are we going to see a massive mutiling versus marine tank push? We've seen a couple of those so far, but none of them have really gone completely epic. It's just one player's always had the edge economically. And yeah, what is going to be the thing that happens this game? I do not know. Yeah, he's leaving it. It looks like he's going for a command center first build before barracks, and it's pretty risky actually because this is a 2-player map, it's not a 4-player map, so the Zerg is going to know that he's going for a command center first build. I assume he's going to build it up here. Maybe not. He's going to build it down at the lower ground, and this is wide open to attack. But of course, if the Zerg does what he always does, then he is going to have a hatch into pull, which is what he's doing. So he's not going to be in too big of a position to actually harass this very early command center. So great play there by TaeJa. He knows his opponent's build like the back of his hand by now. So he knows exactly what Snute can and cannot do. And he also knows that Snute hasn't really been varying his build too much. It's always the hatch into pull. I think he may have got a pull first once. But yeah, with Snute on doing so well with the mutiling, I think TaeJa assumes he's going to stick with the same stuff, and he indeed is going to stick with the same stuff. So yeah, TaeJa going for the early command center, thinks he can make it work, and I happen to agree with him in this case. But the question is, what is Snute going to do when he sees this early command center? My guess is going to be to go for a fast third. We can expect a fast third from him normally. He's got about the 6.5 minute mark, usually gets his third. But we'll almost certainly expect a fourth to go along with that, or a really early third. I'm guessing a fourth because he's not going to see this base until about the 6-minute mark because his scout is just so slow. I'm talking about the Overlord, of course. He could send a drone over there, but I don't think he really feels the need to, because I mean the Overlord will get there by about the 6-minute mark. And yeah, so he's going to be, he might be caught off about this. He might not know how crazily fast it actually went down, but yeah, these Lings probably going to go around and have a look around, so they are definitely going to see it. And what do we got going down? We've got the factory, and this guy's not quite yet building a reactor, but he'll probably start that up any second. There we go, reactor about to come out, so good stuff from him. And yeah, it's going to be, I think this is going to be another mid to late game, or just a mid-game sort of game going on. And yeah, it'll come down to how well these guys do in the mid-game. Will TaeJa do an awesome marine tank army like we've seen him do? Will Snute just wipe the floor with a mutiling army? It remains to be seen, but definitely those Lings saw the expansion down. He saw it was an orbital, so he's got to think, alright, that's pretty decent. You can see him, he just went for 10 workers, so he's not going to shy off getting the workers. He knows that the Terran is going for a very fast economy type build, and he is going to go for the same. And we can expect to see the third base coming down right about now. Maybe a fourth following it up, but fourth is a little bit scary, so he might be happy with a third. Although if he saw this command center coming down, I don't think he would be happy with the third. I think he'd want to get a fourth right off there to go ahead and push as hard as he possibly can. And the Zerg player really pushing the economy. He is going to get up to 40 in just a sec, or 38 or whatever, close enough. And the Terran player really needs to look. The Terran player went for early economy, and the Zerg just says, look, you know what, I'm Zerg, I can match you, I'm going to get early economy as well, and he's doing a great job. And the question is, can the Terran player get down his third and just keep it down? And the Zerg player is not really watching the third locations for the Terran player. We've seen him a couple of times. He's got down some overlords on the places who just pooped creep all over the place, which is an absolutely awesome play. He's not doing it this game. Maybe he doesn't expect the Terran to be going for a third yet, but he is going to be quite surprised because the third is already morphing into an orbital. And yeah, that's some pretty crazy play from the Terran player. And the Hellions going to go around a little bit. They know about the third already. They went up and scouted that. There's no fourth coming down, and these Hellions are going to do the absolute best to make sure that a fourth does not come down or any other sort of crazy stuff. But this gate is looking pretty sweet from the Zerg players, so the Hellions are not going to get in there. 2 more Hellions, so we've seen 6 Hellion pressure from TaeJa quite a lot. And yeah, it does really good. This is the point where you actually start to get to the point where you can actually snipe queens. With 6 Hellions, you can seriously start to snipe queens, even if they don't have upgrades. And 1 Overlord getting taken out there, so not having a lot of fun. Did we see just barracks? Barracks. So it does not look like we are going to be expecting any Hellbat drops anytime soon. It just looks like it's going to be... well, there is a Starfall coming down, but I'm guessing we're going to see Marine Tank going on. Although, I don't know. I really can't say for sure, but I'm guessing Marine Tank from now on. Maybe he's going to do a couple of Widow Mine drops. That would be pretty sweet. The Zerg really wants to get this 4th base down. The Terran player is the Roaches. See, they're pushing out quite a bit. They do not want the Hellions to be able to run around here and have a look at that 4th. But the Hellions really do need to have a look at the 4th, because once they realize the 4th is out there, they can start doing 2-pronged attacks over in this one and then over in this one. So 4th, 1 Overlord coming out there. He's going to see the 3rd for the Terran player has gone down. The Hellions make a push past. They're going to see the 4th base, and that is all that the Terran player needs to know. This is going to be awesome for him now. Actually, 6 Hellions, it might be even more awesome than I thought. Might be able to actually take this out. But a couple of Roaches coming out are going to give the pressure. And yeah, it's going to take ages for those Hellions to actually kill those Roaches, man. You saw how little damage this guy took against the Hellion fire. So yeah, not good for him. But meanwhile, the Terran player getting his 3rd down. He's still quite a bit behind, about 23 workers. The Zerg player has just gone absolutely nuts on workers, and now he's getting all the tech that he needs to get. He's getting the Baneling upgrades. He's got level 2 on the way now. He's getting Baneling speed. He's getting Ling speed. He has not got a Spire as of yet, which I'm a little bit surprised. I would have thought he'd gone Muta Ling, which means he should be starting to think about a Spire right now, or if not, already have one. But yeah, I guess he's a bit more worried about his economy. And these guys coming in to see if there's any workers. There are quite a lot of workers, and they are going to get roasted. But these Hellions taking quite a lot of damage. The Ling's coming in, and only 2 of these guys survive. So not very good, but they did clean it up a little bit. And yeah, they may have not really helped their cause, because they pulled a lot of reinforcements down here. So if he's going to do a bit of an attack there, not going to be all that good. Although if they're going to do a drop, maybe, although as soon as he sees the Banelings coming in, he is not going to want a piece of that. There we go, going in, going to snipe a couple of Banelings with the Ling reinforcement coming in, and he's going to have to lift him into the medevac straight away. And the Zerg is got to be worrying about the fact that he hasn't got a Spire yet, because these medevacs are really needs a Spire to try and counter those. He's going to have some small crawlers, but it's not going to help if he lands down here. And yeah, here he goes. He's got 2 spores on this base though, and he's going to land them down there, and then he's got to get the medevacs out of there down to the south side. But so many Lings down there, just completely wiping out everything. This medevac is just going to limp away. Meanwhile, massive amount of Lings, Banelings, and a few Roaches mixed in there just for good measure. Going to be going down. Meanwhile, the Terran player, the tank presence is not really there, but he's got Widow Mines, he's got bunkers, and yeah, he's really done a nice bit of defense off this area. And you will see this base is actually really well defended. You can't go, there's no ramp up here like I thought there might be. It's just a single ramp from there. So this is going to be a beautiful defensive line, but he really does need some tanks up here. He needs to get some tanks. Relying on Widow Mines is good, but they cannot do what the tanks can do, especially not when you've got this many Banelings coming in, because of course the Banelings explode over the Widow Mine. And look at this battle coming on, man. This is going to be the one right here, right now. And so many bunkers going in, taking out a ton of Banelings. The Banelings has taken out a ton of Marines, and I think TaeJa is going to survive this, but he took quite a lot of losses. Actually, the Roaches coming back, use the Banelings to wipe out all the buildings, and the Roaches are coming in to mop up, and now the Terran is in a lot of trouble. He's going to have a lot of stuff to deal with right here. The Widow Mine's still taking some roach hits, but not that good. He's managed to keep his third base alive. And the roach is actually moving out there. They didn't want to press in. Maybe a bit too worried about the Widow Mine numbers. All are over there. But he did not get in to see a base, and TaeJa's worker numbers are still very, very good. Very, very awesome. But look at this, man. Snute actually going for a 5th base, continuing to push on the economy. And what is TaeJa doing about that, man? He's got 3 weapons and armor for his Marines coming up. He's got level 2 vehicle armor going up, so that's going to be just for the Widow Mines. He's also got the Widow Mine burrow speed going on. And he's just going for Marine Medevac at the moment. Not really anything crazy, just Marine Medevac. And I gotta say, this is going to be a little bit of a mistake. He's seen the amount of banelings out there. He knows that Marine Medevac by itself is not going to do what he needs to do. He's got to get some tanks out there, or he's got to get something else. I don't know if he can make Widow Mines work against banelings. I'd love to see it happen, but I don't know. It's not a proven tactic. Marines plus tanks is a proven tactic for dealing with banelings, and Widow Mines are they're still a little bit new. You don't know exactly what they're a great counter against as of yet. But he definitely is getting a crap ton of Widow Mines, and he's starting to move out, but the Lings going off the right side, and they're actually moving in now, but the Marines are going to be enough to take care of most of these guys. The Baneling pack is moving in now, and he's getting a beautiful split to save most of his forces. Baneling's chasing the Widow Mines, trying to take them out. A group of reinforcing Marines should be able to take those out. And meanwhile, this Terran force down here has taken out that hatchery, so great pressure there by TaeJa. And he's going to continue to push in. He is not scared of the Banelings at all. He's going to keep receding the creep. And I don't know, I think sooner or later the Banelings are going to get the hits off they need. And yeah, the splits, I mean, there's just so many Banelings. He's lifting them into medevac. And that is what's saving him right now. The medevac's lifting his units in there. But yeah, Snute getting down a spire, and he's going to be switching into either heavy mutiling or just getting out some corruptors to snipe the medevacs. And yeah, this is going to be very, very awesome when he starts to get that out. And yeah, simple Marine medevac is not going to work once the spire units start popping out. There we go, just a couple of corruptors coming out. It's just going to be for sniping medevacs. He's going to rely on his Lings to take care of the rest. And there we go, one Marine dying there, so that was not good, but he has done an excellent job of receding the creep. And Zerg's not worrying, he just spreads out another arm over there. He's got his 5th base back up again. His force is constantly getting back in and out, taking care of these guys. And this force is meanwhile taking out the rocks, but I'm pretty sure that the Zerg knows these rocks are going down. But they are more worried about these medevacs in the back of his expansion right now. And yeah, those medevacs not daring to drop down. But he has got the rocks down, and he is going to move in and try and hit the 5th. But he's got to be worried about getting flanked at this point. And there we go, wiping out creep tuners left, right and center. He's got to get the Widow Mines down. They're down. And he leads them in. And the Widow Mines is going to get so many good hits here. There we go, the Roaches getting hit. The Banelings going down. Lost almost all of his Banelings going against the Widow Mines. But yeah, good use of the Widow Mines. I don't know if it's worth hitting the Widow Mines with Banelings or if it was better to save them for the Marines. But Terran player doing an awesome job here. You can see he's pulling back half of his army, leaving the Marauders in front to take the Baneling hits. But eventually it's just going to be too much damage. Pulling it back, the Widow Mines have another shot at taking stuff out. But it's starting to get into a massive amount of Roaches here. I think most of his Lings have died, and the Roaches are the only ones left alive, because the Widow Mine's doing so much good work. 1, 3, 3, so they're not a massive amount of good work, but yeah, still this guy is 16 kills, man, that's pretty awesome. And the Zerg player continuing to hold on. You can see a bunch of Marines heading over there to take that out. The rest of these guys just going to counter the army as they come in. This hatchery has no chance of staying up, I don't think, although a ton of Banelings coming in. He's going to have to lift off and get out of there, but the medevac's not in position. They do a boost to get out of there. And the Terran player is going to have to back off, but we're getting a ton of Corruptors coming out now. And we're getting Broodlords as well. And Broodlord is going to be really, really awesome versus Marines, especially with the ground play. And we can see that TaeJa is going to be countering. He must have saw a couple of Corruptors out there, or maybe even the Broodlords. He's going to be pumping out the Vikings. And we can see he's got a 4th base up the top right side of the map as well. So yeah, going to be doing absolutely awesome stuff this game. Perfectly countering each player. And yeah, look at the Broodlords coming out. So the Widowmines do know about them. And yeah, he's not quite up to scratch in terms of the cooldown time. So not able to take a couple of hits on those Broodlords. I don't know if a Widowmine would do a single hit and take out a Broodlord, but it'd be interesting to see. I'm guessing not, because these guys are just so beefy. And the Vikings starting to come out, but if the Zerg player continues to build a ton of Corruptors in addition to his Broodlords, then he should be able to counter these Vikings. I mean, if you've got 6 Vikings and your opponent got 6 Corruptors and 4 Broodlords, then your Vikings are going to kill themselves against the Corruptors, and the Broodlords are not going to be taking any damage. So, and it's extremely hard to try and stim the Marines in to snipe out the Broodlords. It's just too hard. And look at this, Infestors coming out as well. And Infestors are going to be a stupidly awesome choice in this game, because one thing you do not want, as I was just about to say, is the Marines stimming in to take out the Broodlords. But of course, if you fungal the Marines, not only do you suck their health out, but they cannot move. And if they cannot move, then they are easy prey for the Broodlords, and they cannot stim, run in, and snipe the Broodlords. They just have no choice but to sit there and get hit by the Broodlings over and over again. But TaeJa, man, he is not knowing any defeat so far. He is moving in. He has got a ton of Vikings. This may well be enough. I don't know what the Corruptor number are for the Zerg players. No Corruptors actually morphed them all into Broodlords. And yeah, he's definitely going to need to get some Corruptors, because his Viking numbers are really crazy. You can see he's got a few Corruptors out there. I think he cancelled morphing the Broodlords for some of them. But the Viking numbers, I think, are going to be enough to take out these Corruptors. And yeah, once the Corruptors go down, the Broodlords are just going to be easy pickings. And meanwhile, the Marines are going to take advantage of this army. There has not been that many links coming out. He's been spending a lot of money on Broodlords. And yeah, with spending all that money on Broodlords, he hasn't had enough to build Banelings and build all this other good sort of stuff. And he hasn't got enough to counter the ground army anymore. And TaeJa, man, really punishing him for going for Broodlords. In this case, he just got a ton of Vikings out. Got a ton of these guys. He's got his 4th base down, and that was exactly what he needed to do at that time, and it gave him the economy he needed to get in there. And Snute is going to give the GG, man. He went for a crazy tactic in the very last game, and my god, did it not work out for him. The Broodlords getting countered so hard by the Vikings. And what can I say? Vikings are born to deal with Broodlords, and he didn't have a counter for the Vikings. I mean, he had a few Corruptors out there, but he didn't have the numbers. And I mean, that's just a major bit of fail there, not having a counter for the Vikings. He must have known that was what TaeJa was going to go for, at least a few Vikings. And usually you want to have an even mix of Corruptors and Broodlords, because the Corruptors keep the Vikings off your Broodlords, and the Broodlords just whack out the enemy Marine forces. But he was morphing everything into Broodlords. He did not have any Corruptors left behind. And yeah, it's just awesome job by TaeJa, man. Just like in game 1, he went for what he needed to get. He saw the Broodlords, he went for a ton of Vikings, did an excellent job. He was actually going for ship weapons there, so really pushing it. He already had 1 armor from the Widowmines, I believe, and from the Medivacs maybe as well. So yeah, great job there, and just keeping on the pressure, getting the units he needed to get. Zerg player did a really good job of expanding, but I think the composition here from our Terran player just completely did everything that he needed to do. And congratulations to TaeJa for winning this best of 7 series, for winning the HomeStory Cup number 7, and a very emphatic win here from TaeJa, really getting in there and really showing that if you know your compositions and you've got a good economy behind you, then you can take out anybody. And yeah, I mean, congratulations to Snute as well. He did not back down in this entire series. He kept coming back and kept hitting TaeJa over and over again. And I mean, losing 3-4 is, yeah, it's as close as you can possibly get it. And congratulations to him for winning 3 games in this grand final series. So there we go. What a series. We've still got a few more games to cast for this series. We've got the 3rd place matchup, which is a best of 5, and that's going to be TLO versus Hyun, I believe. And yeah, that's going to be a ZVZ, so that's going to be another kind of awesome. I'll probably cast that in a couple of days, but yeah, it's definitely not going to be put up before the Grand Final series. And yeah, really, really looking forward to that, as well as yeah, as what other tournaments can come around the end. I've got I've actually got another tournament already lined up that I'm thinking about casting. Let me just go find it. Where is the damn thing? It's a German King of the Hill Cup, actually. I can't remember what it's exactly called. The Kaspersky. That's right, the Kaspersky Arena. They run it monthly. It's basically a 5-player King of the Hill, where each stage is a best of 5, and the player who wins goes on to the next player and so on. So yeah, but I downloaded one and it had like TLO and Wyra in it and a whole bunch of other good players, so that is going to be the next thing I'm casting, and yeah, it's going to be really, really awesome. So anyway, thank you very much for watching this awesome series, this awesome tournament actually, full of really, really awesome games. And yeah, please subscribe and like all of my videos and stuff like that. It really, really does help me out and makes me feel a lot better about myself. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. This has been Hairy Muppet. I hope you've enjoyed these games.